Hello, hi friends, welcome to my YouTube channel, Nursing Now Easy. Myself is Kotesh BS. Today I am starting this topic with cell, the basic unit of life. In cell, we studied in different headings. So what are the headings is means introduction to cell and what is cell and general characteristics of cell, difference between prokaryotic cell and eukaryotic cell. The cell structure, the main importance of the cell study is cell structure. The cell structure comprises cell membrane, cytosol. In cytosol, many organelles are coming. In this, the mitochondria, the mitochondria, vacuoles, smooth endoplasmic reticulum, ribosomes, lysosomes, cytoplasm, and centrioles or centrosomes, and Golgi apparatus, rough endoplasmic reticulums. Many things is there in this microfilaments, and the cytoskeleton is there. And the nucleus portion is studied in separate headings in this cell structure. And cell depth, the next heading is cell depth, cell adaptations. So what are the adaptations are occurring in cell between the cells and in between the cells, and cell degeneration. And in this we study one by one, step by step. First of all, introduction. In universe we saw the many things, many lot of things. And in this, we differentiate mainly two types. Means what are the two types? Means living things and non-living things. How can we differentiate in living things and non-living things? The main aspect of the living things is the cell. The cell is the living cell can shows the some important structures and the functions for their livingness. The concept of cell is originated. The concept of cell is originated or proposed by the contributions of the Shivon and Sheldon in 1838. And what is the cell and general characteristics of the cell? Next step is what is the cell? The cell is a basic structural and functional unit of the all living organisms. Cell is the basic structural and functional unit of the all living organisms. Means what? The cell is it has a some structure. So in the figure you saw that cell is a some structure or basic structure, and all within cell and whole cell do the some performance or some works. That's why the cell is the basic structural and functional unit of all living organisms. And next, general characteristics of the cell. Next, general characteristics of the cell means needs gel in a cell. What are the characteristics shows by the single cell? The cell needs nutrition and oxygen for their survival, growth, and repair. The cell needs nutrition and oxygen. Next, produces its own energy. Cell produces its own energy by the use from the mitochondria by the use of nutrition and oxygen. And next, eliminates carbon dioxide, water, and metabolic waste products. What are the substances not required or harmful to the cell, they can eliminate or exits from the cell intracellular fluid to the outer side of the body. And next, maintains homeostasis. The cell maintains homeostasis for their survival and shows immediate response to the invaders or foreign substances. Any foreign substances attacking or any substances invaders are coming, the cell shows immediate response and reproduces the cell by its division. That is cell division by cell reproduced by its division. Next aspect is the difference between prokaryotic cell and eukaryotic cell. In differences, prokaryotic means pro means the false and the karyon means nucleus. False, the word only shows that the false nucleus. The lack of well-defined nucleus in the prokaryotic means lack of well-defined nucleus and possesses a simple structure compared to that of eukaryotic cells. It is called as a prokaryotic cells. And eukaryotic cells, what is meant by eukaryotic cell? Eu means true and the karyon means nucleus. Possesses a well-defined nucleus. Compared to that of prokaryotic, we said that eukaryotic means possesses a well-defined nucleus and complex structure than that of prokaryotic cells. Complex structure means all the many organelles, cell organelles are present in the cell. Is a eukaryotic cell. Next, coming to the point, cell structure. The cell structure are studied in three different techniques. First one is cell membrane. The outermost part of the cell is the cell membrane. And the next is the cytoplasm, in which many cell organelles are present. Third one is the nucleus. In cell membrane, we studied cell membrane in detail. One single aspect we studied about the cell membrane. We studied cell membrane by the structure of the cell membrane is showing in this figure. Cell is composed of main three compositions. So, lipid layer, it is also lipid layer, and the proteins. These are all the protein layers, and some chain of carbohydrates. What is cell membrane? Cell membrane. What is this use of cell membrane? The protective sheath. Cell membrane is the protective sheath covering the whole cytoplasm, and it separates the intracellular fluid, means ICF, intracellular fluid, means cytoplasm, with extracellular fluid, means outside of the fluid present outside the cell is called extracellular fluid, and the fluid present inside the cell is called intracellular fluid. It separates both the fluids, and it's helpful for the transport of some substances in between the cell and outer aspect of the cell. The compositions of cell membrane is lipids, proteins, and carbohydrates. The proteins are the major products, comprises 55%. Proteins comprises 55%, and lipid comprises 45%, and carbohydrate comprises only 5%. In this, first we studied about the lipid layer. In lipid layer, what it means by lipid layer? The lipid layer is composed of two types of lipids, phospholipids and the cholesterol. The phospholipids are like a headed pin in shape. You see in the diagram, means headed pin in shape. The head structure is the polar end. It is both covering the it spaces the extracellular fluid in outside and intracellular fluid in inside, and it is the hydrophilic in nature, means it's a strong affinity to the water. That's why it faces to the ECF and ICF. And the next portion of the phospholipid is the tail portion. Tail portion is in between the two layers. It's the tail portion, and it is hydrophobic in nature. It's the dead opposite to the head portion, and it is hydrophobic in nature, means it is a water repellent, or it's not affinity to the water. Because of this character is the cell membrane is the semi-permeable membrane, means the lipid layer allows easy flow of fat soluble substances, means oxygen, carbon dioxide, and alcohol, easy in between the ECF and ICF, and it's not allowed water soluble substances like glucose and electrons. And the next thing is the cholesterol in lipid layer. Next thing is the cholesterol. Cholesterol is in between the cell, in between the lipid layer. The cholesterol layer is there. It provides strengthening to the lipid layer, or it provides structural integrity to the lipid layer. Next, protein. What is the role of the protein in cell membrane? The cell membrane has a proteins of 55%. 55%. In protein layer, we found that two types, means integral proteins, means it's a protein covering whole layer, two layers, or it's penetrate through the two layers. It's an integral protein. And the protein only peripheral section, outside or inside, maybe outside or inside, is called as peripheral protein. It's an integral protein or transmembrane protein. And what is the function of the protein? Protein is helpful for the transport of substances from outside to the inside. So water, especially water soluble substances, are active transport. Some mechanisms are, some transport mechanisms is there in cell membrane. It's the protein is helpful for the transport of water soluble substances, electrolytes, glucose, and hormones. And the peripheral protein is helpful for the structure and structural integrity to the proteins, and also it is helpful for the cytoskeleton. Peripheral protein is helpful for the cytoskeleton, production of cytoskeleton, and cytoskeleton means strength to the cell. And next, carbohydrates. What is the role of carbohydrate? Carbohydrate comprises only 5%. You know that is a 5%. And some carbohydrates are attached to the lipids, and some carbohydrates are attached to the proteins. In carbohydrates, those carbohydrates attached to the lipids is called as glycolipids. Those carbohydrates attached to the proteins is called as glycoproteins. The carbohydrates are in negatively charged particles. These carbohydrates are negatively charged particles, and these negatively charged particles do not allow the negatively charged substances from easily pass to ACF to ACF or ICF to ECF. And